She makes music. She's an actress. She can actually do whatever she wants to do. Her legacy is just one of the most iconic that we've seen.
A few moments later.
Why did it end? Yeah. Probably just me being reckless.
I had heard that he was cheating.
One of the weird things about dating Janet is that dating Janet attracts other women. Girls wanted to talk to me more because I was dating her, which was really weird.
You know, as you look out into the dating and relationship world, and we're not talking about celebrities, we're talking about just what you know about it. You know for a fact, if you're out there, that most guys in their own minds believe they can't have access to the women that they want. And what tends to happen is these guys get a little bit of money, fame, recognition, notoriety, or any of the sort. And now that they have access to these women, they have a mindset that I don't have access. So they start off with a trick mindset. They start off with okay, what can I do to show her that I deserve to have her? And a lot of times it comes down to a financial benefit. But when these guys get to a point where they can get a woman that they actually desire, for some strange reason, they can't turn off that things that makes them desire more and more and more and more women.
Why did it end? Yeah. Probably just me being reckless.
Why did Jermaine and you break up?
Oh, Ben, I had heard that he was cheating.
One of the weird things about dating Janet is that dating Janet attracts other women. Girls wanted to talk to me more because I was dating her, which was really weird. And I was a man.
I wanted to have a family with him.
How many children did you want to have?
I like to have as many children as he'd like to have, and I probably will regret I ever said that. He had asked me to marry him, and I had said yes.
I dated her longer than her marriages, so I have a different relationship with her than damn near probably anybody.
And they end up ruining the thing that they should have taken seriously. And one example of that is Jermaine Dupri. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. I'm never going to knock a man for not marrying a woman, because legally marrying a woman in the United States is a death sentence for your bank account. It just is, man. I don't care who she is. I don't care what she is. I don't care how she interacts with you. I don't care how much you like her. If you legally marry a woman in the United States, the way the divorce laws are set up, then it's going to represent some type of, downfall for you. That's just what it is. But in the scheme of relationships, when you're a man who has to trick off on women, the way Jermaine Dupri has always had to, and if you're in ATL, you already know Jermaine Dupri has tricked off well. When you hear a man in a song and he talks about every single night he's at a new club, a new strip club, and then the next week he does it all over again, that man has a trick mindset. Anytime a man has babies with, dancing girls or call girls or escorts or working girls, it goes to show you what kind of level that man is on. Because if you ever fall for a woman, you're going to fall for the type of woman that you always interact with. So here's JD saying that he was with Janet Jackson. Hold up. So we all know about the much publicized relationship that JD had with Janet Jackson, right? But we didn't know the parameters of it. JD was on at that point. He was JD. So Dev, right? And, Janet has always been Janet. I think Janet could go on tour right now internationally and sell out quite a few shows. But now we get to the gist of it and understand that Janet really was into this guy. She was ready to marry the guy, ready to have a family with him. And when a woman says one thing, you know she's into you. I'll have as many children as he wants. When a woman says that, hey, listen, bro, she in it for the long haul, because a woman understands one thing. She can have one child with you. She can have 2 children with you. She mess around and have 5 with you. Oh, she stuck with your ass at that point. Nobody worth having is jumping into no situation with a woman with 5 children. I don't care if they by one man. There ain't no man on the planet finna say, oh, I'll save you. Not to a woman with 5 babies. And so when a woman says that, she sees herself with you long term. But how does JD ruin that? The man says, I was such a trick before I met Janet, that when I got with Janet, I could finally get some women without paying. And I just couldn't resist. Now, when you hear a man talk like this, you know for a fact that man has had issues getting women. Let's be honest. JD ain't never been the toughest guy. He don't have no reputation for being no tough guy. So the women who like thugs wasn't gonna like JD. JD always been a very thin guy. I mean, he even picked up some OG weight now, but he's always been a very thin guy. So the women who like guys that are in shape, JD wasn't gonna get them. JD is one of the shortest guys you ever come across, man. I'm gonna be honest with you, man. He almost looks short enough. Look like if you wear the right kind of shoes, you can step on him like a cockroach. There ain't no knock on him. The boy just short, real short. I ain't talking about 5'7", 5'5" short. That boy like he man about 5'1". That boy super short. So the women who like tall guys, he ain't gonna get them. You hear him talk, the women who like guys with deep voices, he ain't gonna get them. You know, the boy, he lost his hair a long time ago. The women, I'm talking about long time ago, young, his dreads in the top was really, really short. So when you think about it, here's a man who knew that going in that he had to pay women. And so he started working real hard to get money when he was young. And so he just became a trick. You know what I'm saying? A renowned trick. You know what I mean? No, the guy's not afraid to admit it. There's one thing about celebrity tricks, man. They ain't got no problem with admitting they tricks. Wayne told y'all it ain't tricking if you got it. And so every trick in the industry said, oh, wait a minute. Well, if Wayne says it, okay, yeah, I'm a trick too. But there's nothing wrong with it. If you're a trick, be a trick. It's your money, spend it how you want to spend it. But when your tricking starts to get in the way of something that possibly could have put you in a better situation, because I'm going to be honest with you, this ain't even about the woman, Janet. This is about the performer, Janet. This is about the artist, Janet. Man, let me tell you something, boy. You're a super producer. You got Janet Jackson in your house with you every day. Man, boy, let me tell you something. Me and Janet we've been working on the next Janet Jackson hit every day. It would have been like a job. You understand? I would have worked with whoever else I had to work with to get that money. Man, and we would have been working on that next hit. Because I'm going to be honest with you, create that next hit for Janet, boy, that thing could turn into some international shit. But he too busy thinking with his wee-wee. When a man says, the women liked me more when I dated Janet, and I was just being a man. Now you just being a sucker. Y'all gonna stop doing all this sucker stuff. Y'all gonna stop making these hoe stakes and then sit around and talk about, well, I'm just being a man. No, the hoe stakes, that ain't the man. That ain't what men do. Men don't make the hoe stakes. You being a sucker. You being yourself. You being the trick you've always been. So just admit that. And when you hear, sometimes, man, what we have to understand is this. If you're a trick, then you're always going to be that, because that's your comfort zone. You understand? If you're a P, you're always going to be that, because that's your comfort zone. And the thing about comfort zones is the longer you stay in the comfort zone, then you're just going to get the same result you always get in that comfort zone. Comfort zones are an excuse not to grow. And if you don't grow and elevate, then you can never expect a different result. So JD and Janet were gonna fail regardless, because JD was more comfortable just being a trick. And let's talk about this. Even though he probably didn't have to pay those women, because here's what women want to do. A bunch of scallywags. This is a scallywag mindset. A scallywag doesn't mind being a side chick. Why? Because it makes her feel better to sleep with that woman's man. It makes her feel a sense of accomplishment. She'd rather tell herself, I can take your man, rather than to say I can get my own. Because you know what? She's failed her whole life at getting her own man. She can't keep a man to save her damn life. So she gets to a point where she don't even try to keep a man no more. Listen, and a lot of times a woman goes through enough to logically have that mindset. It makes sense for her to have that mindset, but that don't mean it's good. That don't mean she's not ruined. That don't mean that, she has some psychological issues that need to be taken care of. Yes, she has some shit with her, but that's the kind of woman that is. So that woman is gonna say, hey, that's Janet Jackson's man. I think I can sleep with him. He'll trick anyway. Look at him. So she bragging around, looking at Janet crazy. That's why women always say, hey man, listen, I ain't gonna sweat you like that, but don't embarrass me. That's the embarrassing thing for a woman who's going to be that type of woman, to be able to say, okay, well, here it is. What woman gets pregnant intentionally by a man who already has a woman? Nobody but a scallywag. So the man is saying, even after all of those years, he couldn't resist scallywag. Maybe him and Janet wasn't going to work anyway. But I'm going to tell you one thing. You don't let you sleeping around with scallywags and dancing girls and call girls and escorts and all of that. You don't let that be the reason. Because let's be honest with you. You ain't hear about who else he was in a relationship with. You ain't hear him. He ain't like the boy was, sleeping around and going around with Kelly Rowland or B or Carrie Hilson or you name them. It ain't like it was none of those celebrity women. And we know that the guy ended up having a kid with a stripper. So the bottom line is this, man. You have to be able to control yourself, because you can't afford to look back at life and say, my reason for not doing that, or my reason for not having that, or my reason for not accomplishing that is because women liked me. What? Fool, that's par for the course. If that's the point you get to where you finally recognize, you know what? Women actually like me. That's the point where you take off and keep going hard as you can. Because what guys mistake for women liking them is women seeing them. Women recognizing them. There's a bunch of women who didn't know who the hell Jermaine Dupri was, but they knew who Janet Jackson was. And so by recognition of Janet Jackson, they recognized him. And so they see him out and now they're like, okay, I know him. That's Janet Jackson, man. JD's a producer. He's not an artist. So he's not even in front of the camera. The most he's ever been in front of the camera in his life is when he was walking around with Janet Jackson. So you got to keep in mind, man, that when you're elevating yourself to that level, bruh, I mean, listen, man, you cannot be out. A woman will deal with you sleeping around. You have a baby outside, bruh. No woman who respects herself is going to accept that. She just won't. And you may say, well, man, she can just be gone. My well, no way. So your way is to have a baby with a woman outside of the woman that you with in the house? Sound like your way is a sucker way. And we don't support no sucker shit over here, dog. So I want y'all to understand, man, don't allow your libido to make you take your little wee-wee out your Speedo if it's not going to benefit you. Because we always talk about tricking off your money, but you can also trick off your wood. And you can make more money, but you can't get another wood. You can build your revenue, but you can't recover from all that loss of testosterone. Be the man you're supposed to be and stop letting the old version of you keep the new version of you from getting to the shit you're supposed to get to. All right. I guess that's it. Y'all comment down below and let me know what you think about this topic, man. I look forward to hearing what you men have to say. Subscribe for more videos. And as always, Alpha's up, Beta's down. Peace.